UVA, of course, was founded in 1819 by the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, who was a slaveholder. Two of his sons, by Sally Hemings, worked at the university and was a part of that whole movement when they were building the school, and they were servants there, and they stayed there for years.
Pastor Michael Turner of Ebenezer Baptist Church in Stanton graduated from the University of Virginia. Now his alma mater is preparing the campus grounds for a memorial to enslaved laborers. It will feature a stone wall called the Freedom Ring and will include an inner circle for people to gather. Names of slaves who built the university are scheduled to be inscribed on the wall. That's according to the UVA's President's Commission on Slavery and the University, co-chair Kirt von Daacke.
In 2013, the president decided to form the commission, and then we set off to kind of robustly and institutionally figure out what the real story was, tell the history, and I think we've gone pretty far beyond what the initial charge laid out, that our goal as a group of 26 was to really connect with the community, not only tell the story, but think about this as some sort of restorative justice model, that we were not only going to acknowledge over and over again the past and try to tell details about slavery and the enslaved at the university, but start to think about this as a project we share with the community. And so that's sort of how it came about and what we've been doing for the past almost 6 years now.
Von Daacke is also a UVA Assistant Dean and History Professor. The memorial will be located in an area where it is visible to the entire community.
It's the memorial to enslaved laborers, but it's monumental in scale, that it's about 80 feet in diameter. It's going to cover a pretty large chunk of land in what's known as the Triangle of Grass. This is east of Brooks Hall, so just north and then east of the Rotunda, in a large kind of grassy area that's visible from University Avenue, accessible from the community. And the memorial will do a number of things. It's meant to really kind of honor we think, nearly 5,000 enslaved people that lived and worked at UVA from 1817 to 1865. And that number includes people who may have only been here for 2 or 3 days. The university engaged in renting human beings through a kind of a commodified regional network. And so sometimes all we know is a phrase like 3 hands for 2.5 days' work. And we can't fully count the number nor even name all of them, but the idea was honor their lives and their labor, speak to their humanity, to their resistance to white supremacist notions about them, their resistance to slavery, their hopes for freedom, and their struggles to build family and community in the face of a pretty violent system of oppression. Right now, we've identified about 600 names or partial names, and the memorial will include recognition of all the roughly 5,000, and then where we have names or partial names, it will include those. It will also include some form of kind of timeline detailing some of the local history here. And it will have a large interior space where groups can gather, and we see it as being the kind of starting point for, this is the 3rd year coming up this March 3rd. It's known as Liberation and Freedom Day in Charlottesville. And there's typically a march from UVA downtown, and we imagine that it will now sort of start at this memorial as a gathering space to begin the process, and we hope that there'll be additional kind of meaningful rituals that it will be able to host over the course of the year. And that's, students had particularly asked for, if you're going to create a memorial, create a space where we can gather, we can protest, we can engage in rituals. The community, the larger Charlottesville Albemarle community, made it very clear it shouldn't be on the lawn. It shouldn't be hidden in the academical village. We want it out where we can see it and we can access it. And so that's sort of how it came about in the space that it's in now.
UVA has already begun the process of preparing the grounds for the new memorial site to honor the enslaved workers. It will be located near the Thomas Jefferson statue in front of the school's rotunda. In Charlottesville, Elaine Rackley for Breaking Through News.